Or we could just do this instead. Oh, I unlocked a couple things. I got the wall jump. So, there's that. You know, I actually made some progress. The messenger looks different. No, but, yeah, the Dead Cells that I managed to play while I was not feeling so good, which was not too much, but I did do a pretty intense JO session, which, stands for, game session. There's a lot of dying, but I finally did it. That's a nice noise. That's a nice noise.
But what I'm not is gonna cover my cock in a locker room and you see my penis to some of your ears.
Oh, why is it so loud when everything else was so not loud? A second. A little louder. There we go. So, yeah, I have to just kind of figure out where to go. It looks like I'm going the right way. That's good. Weirdly enough, for someone like me who's really into Metroidvanias, the game did lose a bit of steam when it opened up. And it's just the backtracking. It doesn't feel like I'm getting any real meaningful upgrades for Ninja. Not yet, at least. Maybe if I was a Space Marine, there would be plenty of upgrades. It is still pretty cool, though, but we'll see what happens. Maybe today I'll get some stuff that'll make me feel differently. But what I'm not is gonna cover my locker room. Oh, yeah, so hi. Music note. It's okay, I have throat lozenges. They're expired by 2 years, but I'll deal with it. Got another one here? Yeah, got another one. So what can we talk about? I guess we could talk about the Nintendo Direct a bit, even though I've talked about it for like a week. Talk about, like, delayed cockblock. I mean, totally understandable why it was delayed. I was not upset in the slightest, because it's super just devastating and legit reason. So I understand why it was delayed. But I was all like, you know, I kind of gave my predictions, talked about it a little bit. Granted, I was probably not even in close to a decent state of mind because of last time I streamed it. Oh, and you know what? No, I wasn't that, like, I didn't notice I was getting sick. I was playing, Dead Cells. So yeah, I noticed I was getting sick. I was sick. I was just straight up sick. But the worst of it hadn't even happened yet. I was like, oh, I can still stream. I could probably stream the Nintendo Direct. It would have been awful. But I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good about this one, lads. I am. Maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm letting Reggie have his way with me, but I'm feeling like it's gonna be a good one. I've had, you know, a week to ruminate upon it.
But what I'm not is gonna let Reggie give me a wedgie. Allegedly.
I think we're gonna see some, you know, they talked about 3DS having a presence at this Nintendo Direct. I think that's gonna be the stuff that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be like more GameCube ports, or just completely out of left field, strange, like, you know, stuff that'll like sell, but that no one expected, maybe? Trying to figure out like what franchise would show up randomly on the 3DS, like, because we already got Luigi's Mansion. Could you imagine if the first F-Zero game we get in years is on the 3DS? How pissed people would be. Vinesauce, you didn't go down back there? Was there something down there? Doesn't look like it. It seems like I have to go to the right. Prime 4 hopes. As I said last time, I don't think we're gonna see Prime 4. I do think we're gonna see... we're gonna see Yoshi, obviously. That was announced. Or like the name of it. I'm just hoping for surprises, because we already had some of the surprises revealed already, like Mega Man 11 demo. Which, not the biggest surprise, but it's something. Sunshine 3DS. Please no, not Sunshine 3DS. Please Sunshine Switch. There's a lot of games that came out on the GameCube that they then port over to the 3DS. And it's like, it's alright, they're portable, that's cool. But they look worse. And I guess for me, I want, like, a better looking Sunshine. If they're gonna do Sunshine... Star Fox Racing, you know, I was really convinced that that was a real leak. The Star Fox Racing game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that Starlink game, and they really focus hard on the Star Fox stuff from it. You know, before I go here, I'm gonna go back up and to the right. I don't know if the Star Fox Racing game is real. I don't know what's happening with Retro, other than the rumors I've heard about, like, restructuring and people, like, employees complaining about the company. I think something's going on. And I don't know if we're gonna get anything huge. I don't think this is gonna be like E3 level direct. But, you know, I just really wonder, like, what's happening with Dong? Are we gonna see a Dong game on the 3DS? I think we're gonna see New Super Mario Brothers collection, or a Mario collection of some kind on the Switch. Yeah. I can imagine Nintendo releasing something with an online mode to sweeten the deal of the online stuff, and I do think the online reveal is going to be a little bit more substantial than, say, Balloon Fight Online. I mean, it's coming out soon, and they have to sell it to a lot of people still. And they already botch kebabbed it pretty hard, in my opinion. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see something. Maybe a co-op Super Nintendo game, if we're lucky, or maybe, you know, fucking, I'm trying to think of, like, a Wii game, like, how about this? Mario 3D World with, like, online co-op. I mean, it's something. Someone said a remake of Star Fox Zero not fucking using motion controls. Isn't that just Star Fox 64? Star Fox Zero was an attempted remake of Star Fox 64, wasn't it? Prime Hunters HD. You know what? I would actually love a fully fledged Metroid Prime Hunters with online multiplayer for the Switch. With, gyro controls. With some new hunters. Maybe don't even bother with single player. Just keep it strictly multiplayer. I'd play the fuck out of that. Like a reimagining. Yeah, just stay away from single player, and you can focus the development on, you know, the multiplayer. So, because Nintendo doesn't really have a shooter property, aside from Splatoon. Well, Splatoon. Never mind, they got a shooter property. Okay, here's one. Splatoon 3DS. That's gonna be the one that people are gonna be like, wait, what? Why? I know everyone's joking about Fortnite on 3DS, Mom! But I really don't see that happening. Mother Trilogy, 3DS. Let's be honest, does anyone actually want that on 3DS? Or would you prefer that on the Switch? Does anyone want anything on the 3DS anymore? I know there's people that only have a 3DS. It has a huge install base. But whenever someone says anything good 3DS, people are gonna want it for... You know, they're gonna want it for the Switch. My capture device on my 3DS... First of all, I'm using the first 3DS model, because that's the one that's modded for capture. So it is crusty, it's old, it's clunky, it turns off sometimes on its own. Like, God does not have dominion over my 3DS capture. And so I'd prefer never to use that again. You know, if there would be a way for me to just never use the 3DS capture device again, I'd be very happy. Switch capture is easy, painless. It looks good. I know the 3DS emulator is coming along, but it's not quite there just yet. So, if there was a Mother collection, that would be cool, but I don't know. I also think that because of the lack of a defined virtual console service, third parties are going to be porting their collection, like, series over. Like, we saw it happen with Mega Man. Sega's doing something similar. So maybe tomorrow we'll find out about, like a Konami collection. I still think, listen, I know Konami is, whatever the fuck is happening to Konami isn't good, and I know that they don't seem to care about their games or franchise anymore, but I think a Castlevania collection for the Switch would be amazing. The Mega Man collection is cool. You know, we've seen Mega Man collections throughout the years. We have not seen a Castlevania collection. One with, like, you know, 6 or 7 games. Symphony of the Night. Metal Gear collection would be cool. Any kind of collection, you know, is good value. And I know we have Simon and Smash, but I'm just saying, in general, Konami doesn't seem to... They're just... What are they doing lately? What are they making? Aside from Pachinko. Now that Square is kind of cozied up to the Switch a bit with Octopath, and they're getting them Crystal Chronicles on Switch. How about a Final Fantasy collection? They've done it before. They've done anthology collections. I'm just saying, like, okay, new games would be great. I'm down for new games more than any of this shit. I'm just throwing ideas out there for what could bolster the Switch's library. I mean, this is any system, too. You know, I say Switch, but I'd be down for this shit on almost anything. It's just the Switch is ultimate convenience for me. And I think, you know, non-Switch owners... I don't know if it registers how much of a game changer having your console and portable in the same thing really is. I know it seems maybe like, well, who cares for a lot of people, or for people who just are contrarians or they have no interest in the Switch, and that's fine. You know, and that's definitely your opinion, you're right. But there's a reason people want so many indie games on the Switch. It's because it's just a more convenient... It's just a more convenient thing. Like playing Dead Cells, I probably would have never come back to it. But now that it's on the Switch, it makes me want to continue playing it. So yeah, I want lots of stuff on the Switch. I want very many things. And it's already a system with almost 1,000 games on it. And it's already getting so many fucking ports. Yeah, it's got about 1,000 games on it. I mean, we're talking about ports, we're talking about indie games, we're talking about shitty indie games, like real shitty ones. Shovelware. I mean, this isn't a good thing necessarily. The system's been out for a year and a half. and it's got a really substantial library, and there's really good stuff on it if you know where to look and if you know what to buy, but there's also a lot of fucking trash. I think there was also an article about how Dead Cells sold really, really, really well on the Switch compared to any other version. So it's a good system for indie games. Which means, for me, it will be a good system for virtual console games. Honestly, man, Switch has too many ports. Just want new and original games for Switch, since those ported games I have on PS4. I understand, and I think that it's 100% reasonable to ask for new games. That's what I want. I want new games. But as I've said before, Nintendo blew their load with Zelda, Mario, Splatoon, and they're doing Smash now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Aside from having to, like, totally restructure their entire shit because of the Wii U's failure. What I need to see is more third parties doing shit like Octopath and saying, oh, a game like that can sell really well on the Switch. Let's make a totally new, original IP. Let's put it on the Switch. And let's see what happens. And that's the type of, like, thing that, even though I don't have Octopath, I think that's the type of thing that works best on Switch. Like Resident Evil 2 Remake, that game looks fucking amazing. That's not gonna work on Switch. And I'm okay with that. The Switch cannot handle that game. So, you have to make new things. You know, like something like Dragon Quest Builders. I know that's not a Switch exclusive, but stuff like that works well for Switch. Yeah. Stuff like that Yoshi game. But I want to see the new stuff too, but I don't think I would ever complain about... You know, if there was a Banjo-Kazooie collection, I know it's so far-fetched, but let's say there was a Banjo-Kazooie collection on the Switch. I wouldn't complain about that. To me, the more the merrier, especially if it's good stuff. If there was a new Super Mario Bros. Collection, I wouldn't really care so much about that. But it would still be something. And then, like, in the meantime, you got shit like this and Dead Cells to keep you busy. So, it's weird because I'm playing the Switch way more than I ever played my Wii U. I play the Switch way more than I play my PS4. I don't even know. My Xbox One, I don't even know what it is. It was a Blu-ray player for a while. Rare Replay Collection was, like, the only thing I played on it. The only games I play as much or more than the Switch are PC games. So, even though there is like a little bit of a lull in the Switch release cycle, I still find myself playing more games on this thing than pretty much any other thing. And this is coming from someone that, like, I don't really want to be biased, it's just the games that I want. Like, I'll be honest with you, Dad of War looked really cool. Wasn't that interested. Spider-Man looks cool. I would have played it. Well, just come back tomorrow, we'll talk. I know there's a lot of good stuff on the PS4 that I would enjoy, but for me, it was a Monster Hunter and Bloodborne machine. So. I don't really like this game right now. Ask prophets for hints. Go to the catacombs, I think. Yeah, this is a way better action platformer level-based game than it is Metroidvania game. Vinny, what's your opinion on the Mega Man 11 demo? So I played it yesterday, and I talked about it yesterday. I had a lot of fun with it. I actually really enjoyed it. It's not the best thing I've ever played, and I still have some issues with it. Like, the art style is a little clunky for me. But once I started getting into the gear system, and the way the game worked and felt, I was on board. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to streaming it. Because it was just fun. And like, every time I died, I got better at the game, too. So it wasn't like unfairly bullshit difficult, it was like the right level of difficult. I really liked it. Maybe I'm selling it too much, but... Okay, how about one really? I really liked it. Maybe I'm just happy Mega Man's back. And it's not complete shit. But, you know, when I think about that, I think back to Bloodstained as well, which is, for all intents and purposes, a new Igavania. Like, we're not getting a new Castlevania anytime soon, but we're getting Bloodstained. And Curse of the Moon, Curse of the Moon was fantastic. And the demo for Bloodstained was actually pretty good. And then they delayed it like another 8 months. They're like, you know what? No, we're not ready yet. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy they decided to take more time to work on it. Because it was already good. That demo was good. But it needed a bit more polish, and I'm really interested to see what they can do with it in the time they now have. But then there's the weird case of that game Chasm, which I haven't played, so this is all anecdotal. I don't think that's the right use of the word anecdotal. But this is all from what I've read, and I did a lot of, research, because I wanted that game. I really wanted to like that game. But Chasm was an indie game that was in development for years and years and years, and, you know, I interviewed the dev, and I played a little bit of it, I played the demo, and it was like procedurally generated Symphony of the Night-esque game. And the funny thing is, they delayed that, and it seemed like they weren't even working on it for a while. But then, when you see the version that we got, it didn't look too much different from the version that I last saw, like, two and a half years ago. Vinny, you're here too early? That's cool. Guess we'll find out. Vinny, the problem with Chasm was that the procedural generation was the big draw, yet you only play through the game once, so there's no reason to experience what the procedural generation even gave the game, which actually, from what I understand, what it gave the game was a lack of focus. Oh, look how far back it put me. Speaking of lack of focus. Like I said, there's no more meaningful upgrades that I'm aware of. I just kind of feel like it's now just fetch quest central. And yeah, with a game with procedural generation, you want to continue playing through the game over and over and over again. So if they're setting up a game to be like a Castlevania type game, and you go through it one time, it's totally understandable how that feature wouldn't even mean anything for most people. What they would have to do is something like Dead Cells. Or they'd have to have areas that you go back to. So here's a cool idea. Instead of your traditional backtracking, which is something that, like, kind of makes or breaks a lot of Metroidvania games, what about if the areas you backtrack were the ones that get procedurally generated? Oh my god, did I do the same thing again? Well, how would that work? So, like, okay, you know, you have to backtrack through an area, so you have, like, the sacred temple area of the game. And in the sacred temple area, you go back to it later, because inside the sacred temple there's an upgrade that you need. Now, normally, in, like, a Metroid game, you'd have to get the upgrade to go over there, and then you have to go back to the spot that you remembered. But what if, when you go back to the sacred temple, its layout is totally different, the enemy placement is different, there's like random loot drops, and it feels like a new area, so even though you have to be back there, you don't feel like, oh, this is a tremendous waste of my time. Like, oh, this is a new challenge, this is something different. And then the upgrade that you need is still there. But it's, you know, that's a way to, I think, utilize the procedural generation. So some areas are always constant, and some are procedurally generated to cut down the tedium of backtracking. Speaking of tedium of backtracking, there's a lot of backtracking left that I have to do in this game, right? I don't know how much of that I want to do. I don't know about abandoned game. It just started so strong for me. I didn't upgrade for that area. So what you're telling me is I need an arbitrary light upgrade to go into the dark area that I'm gonna have to eventually go back to. At least in Zelda 2, the fucking candle is in the first temple. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to find reasons to continue playing this. I haven't seen anything new in the 45 minutes I've played this. I don't mean to be a bitch about this. I really, really don't. I have not had any fun since I started playing this today. Whereas every other time I played this, aside from the Metroidvania stuff, was just fantastic. I might stop. I'll think about it. I'm gonna keep going for a bit. Again, you know what would be great? Just like a quick warp back to the hub. That would save a lot of time. That'll be nice. Not a warp either. Apparently there's something up there. Let me take a look. So people are saying you can buy a hint from the prophet, and he'll tell you where to go. And that's cool. That helps. Let's see what let's see what it's like. It's still not making all this backtracking very fun, and the warp points are extremely limited. So I don't know. Someone said, to be fair, in Metroid you can run faster. That's true, but also, Metroid, the backtracking had all kinds of stuff. Like, there was a secret or an upgrade, like, pretty much everywhere. And it was a really, like, concise world with lots of different exits and like, connected areas. This is more set up like a platformer. This is more set up like an action platformer, which it is. But now it's doing something different, which I think is cool. I like the idea of it. In theory, it works. Vinny, I don't mean to say game is bad because gamer is bad, but you've kind of been running around in circles since the start of the stream, it feels like. I mean, you're not wrong, I just, you know, I don't really know where else to go. I only have a couple warp points. You know, it's not really clear. I mean, sure, I'm gonna buy some hints. I'm gonna go to the Prophet. I guess, like, with Hollow Knight, I didn't feel... You know, like this stuff was that pointless. And also, like in Hollow Knight, there's upgrades all over the place. You're always getting an upgrade. I don't know if there's any more upgrades, like aside from a candle. So, I don't know. My motivation for wanting to continue is low. I've already seen most of the areas. I feel like... You know, also with Hollow Knight, there's like... 20 different areas. And you're always discovering a new one. And they're huge, and they have like logic to the way they're connected. I know this is just turning into a Messenger hate fest at the moment, but... It's a shame. I'm not, like, there's no agenda here, I'm just not enjoying it. Ruxton's final resting place. Looks like there's a note addressed to the messenger. Dear messenger, if you're reading this, it means that my research indicated is... that what my research indicated is true and you've traveled 500 years into the future. It means that when I said I was done being evil, I even planned for my relics to come to your aid. First is my amulet, yours to keep and remember me by. I also left my staff at the top of Glacial Peak. It will answer to you as long as you carry my amulet. Also, I did some digging around the catacombs. I believe I found a secret entrance to a new area you should explore. Though it's very dark. Look for the secret passage in the room with 2 bats and a moving platform. Oh. Well. Well, there you go. So there's an upgrade. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's what I want. I want to know where the upgrades are. Very good. Someone said just explore the areas you haven't filled out and you'll find stuff easy. Well, that was my... That's exactly what I did. This whole stream I've been looking for those areas. Where the sun shines bright and the mood is light, a little creature is paralyzed by fear. Huh? Now I'll go back to the shopkeeper and buy the location. Okay. Well, I know I have to be here for the staff. Having trouble understanding the prophecy. What do the prophets say? Where the sun shines bright, the prophet gets sillier every day. So 300 shards. I don't have the money for it. Alright, I'll get the staff. I'll make the money on the way. Someone said it's a Metroidvania. Oh my god, people are expecting to finish a Metroidvania in a few short hours. If Super Metroid came out nowadays, y'all be complaining about the same shit. I disagree with you. This is a game that started not as a Metroidvania. And also, Super Metroid's only a couple hours long. This is turning into like a 15, 16 hour long game, and it's mostly padding. And it's mostly areas I've seen already in the action platformer segment. So no, I wouldn't say that that's entirely accurate. Someone just said it's a pacing problem, not a Metroidvania problem. I think I agree with that. 500 years, do you have any idea how cold it is up here? I'll leave you here, the messenger will need you in the future, he said. 15 minutes in and I was already cold and bored. Had I known it would take you centuries to show up, I'm kind of helpless. How are you supposed to help me? I'm not interested in wielding a necromancer weapon. I don't know, Ruxton got obsessed with the Blue Robe's history. Said something about how a tower used to get to the clouds wouldn't be here anymore. So my epic contribution after waiting for centuries in the cold is apparently simply to beam you up and down as you please. The cloud ruins? Yeah, that's sure to come in handy. You really think I'd be sitting here if I could teleport? Only you could activate my magic. For that you need Ruxton's amulet. Well, it's progress. It's not an upgrade, but it is progress. Vinny, what this game needs is a good movement upgrade to make the backtracking faster and more fun. Like double speed, right? Or like a teleport of some... yeah. Hey, it worked. I'll be here for you if you need to go back. Wow, the view is insane. Why couldn't Ruxton leave me here instead? Or the Richter sliding kick? Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. Or Maria's like birds and turtles. Oh wait, that's not a movement upgrade. I'd actually be down for a new Metroid game starring Richter. We don't, like, always see... we don't always see the same Belmont. Like, we saw Simon a bunch. And then... they just kind of stopped doing direct sequels. Like, there's a couple. Richter we saw twice. Did I say Metroid game with Richter? Oh shit. I meant Metroidvania, but I actually meant Castlevania. What the fuck? Die, monster! I mean, mother, brain? Jesus Christ. Yeah! Yeah! No buy hint? Couldn't afford hint. Oh, now I can afford the hint. Well, I'm here for now. I have work to do here. That is 3 times because I'm busy talking about Richter and Metroid. And not paying full attention to the game I'm playing. Terrible. Should we go for death number 4? Just have to keep my mouth shut for a minute. Never mind, I still have work to be... that needs to be done down here. I'm just saying, a new Castlevania game, that's what I meant to say earlier. Or a Metroid game would be fine, too, with Richter. That's fine. Whatever. I mean, Richter is gonna be fighting Samus in, like, a couple months, so... But there's so many characters that showed up only, like, once or twice. Like Christopher Belmont. Did Christopher Belmont ever show up in another game? I think Christopher Belmont was in, like, one Game Boy game. Rebirth. Oh yeah, so in the Game Boy game and the remake. John Belmont? Oh man. You don't want to know about the power of John Belmont. Vampiric Marine. Now that is a fucking dopey movie. John Carpenter's Vampires. I would never recommend anyone watch that movie, but if you want to see a really dumb vampire movie, I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it exists. There's boner jokes. Dumber than Twilight? Well, it knows it's dumb. Saving up for that big upgrade. But here we go. Bamboo Creek. Alright. Julius was the last one. Wasn't the Julius in Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow? He's in like the year... What year does that game take place? 1999 is it? Or... further into the future? 2035? I could just imagine Julius Belmont going about his daily life as a vampire hunter. Wearing his full vampire garb. Just, like, completely decked out. It's like the fucking vampire that Cassidy meets in I was gonna say Twilight! In Preacher. It's like a 17th century vampire in modern day. You're a bit of a cunt, aren't you? By the way, I know only like 5 people watch Preacher, and it's probably gonna get cancelled, but... the second half of the season was amazing. I mean, most of the season was good, but there were so many fucking good moments. Humperdoo clones getting set loose. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not spoiling. I'm not gonna talk about penis heads. Or the Allfather. I'm not gonna talk about any of that stuff. Or Hitler. I'm not gonna talk about Hitler. That works as a cashier. I'm not gonna talk about that. Hilter, I'm sorry, I meant Mr. Hilter. Hilter. Different dude. It's just one of the weirdest shows, like... I take it for granted, because it is so... You know, I mean, it's AMC, so they can get away with a couple fucks, but it is such a, like... It's such a bizarre show. You don't know what to expect. Every episode, you might have, like, a couple of ideas of what might happen, and then it just... It subverts your expectations, but not like Rian Johnson. It's just a really, really wacky, well-done show that both does its source material justice and does some other shit that is great. So yeah, I love it. I thought it was a great season. And it has me actually laughing out loud more often than I would expect. It wasn't worth it for the chat message, though. Is that right? I had my first cup of coffee today. That was weird. I was like, what is this? What? Caffeine? What? Like, it's been about a week and a half since I had a cup of coffee because I didn't want to irritate my throat. I also didn't want to do iced coffee because, believe it or not, ice cream was not helping. Ice cream was a real motherfucker for me. Anything. I can't tell you how happy I am that this nightmare is almost over. Like, people were like, Vinny, you should, you know, eat lots of ice cream while you're sick. It'll make your throat feel better. And it was like, I couldn't even fucking do that. But I did manage to, one day, I got a Frosty. And that actually did help a bit. Like, it took a couple days, and then it started, like, working. Then ice cream and cold stuff actually didn't irritate. So the Frosty was the turning point. And that was, like, a really good morale boost, because at that point, I was like, alright, well, maybe I'm getting better. I remember the first, for a couple days, I really couldn't eat, so I had like an empty stomach for a lot of it. Like, not that empty, I mean, it was still like some soup. But the first day I was able to eat like a little bit of a sandwich and soup, and I felt like I had food in me. That was incredible. I was like, wow. Like, these aren't things that you should be... These aren't things you think about, and then suddenly they're more important than anything else. Two of my Blue Apron recipes and stuff went bad because I couldn't eat it, I couldn't cook it. It just went bad. So, downside discovered to subscription crate food services, as if I needed more downsides. Also, my appetite shrunk. Like, today I didn't really... I probably ate half of what I normally eat, which is fine. I mean, my appetite will come back, but even if I don't eat as much, like, I find myself eating too much anyway because just mouth pleasure, as opposed to, like, oh, I need the nutrients, I need to eat. There are times I definitely eat like a gavone. And I'm like, oh man. Goddamn cheeseburgers! No, mouth pleasure is exactly what I meant to say. I mean, that's what food is. That's what, like, good tasting food is. "100% that. I stick by it. I don't care if you throw that shit into an innuendo, whatever you want to do. It's fine. And unless you have a G-spot on your fucking tongue, you're not gonna get mouth pleasure from anything other than good food. I don't know, maybe there's a lot of different types of people out there, never mind. It's called taste buds. That's your G-spot. That's your, like, tongue G-spot. But here's the thing, though. With strep throat, my taste buds were not working properly, so even food that I knew was supposed to taste good was not happening. And then, you know, if you have a stuffy nose, you're not gonna taste that food properly. So the sense of smell is just as important as taste buds when it comes to food and mouth pleasure. And no, I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue talking about mouth pleasure and tongue G-spots. But yeah, I remember the chicken tortilla soup that I had from this place, this one good Mexican place I go to. Fantastic. That was when my taste buds returned to me. I was like, yes! But I really didn't eat that much today. And, I ate enough to get full. I don't feel hungry. Like, I did, a stir-fry. There's like a red bib stir-fry with string beans and chicken and this soy sauce, and it was really good. It was ramen. But I didn't eat a lot of it because it was like, oh shit. And it was still kind of not feeling that great to eat. Like, I still have to be a little bit careful. Like, I can eat certain types of, like, I couldn't eat food that, like, I couldn't have, like, pizza crust. I could probably have the meat of the pizza, but I couldn't have the crust of the pizza. That would not be a good idea for me. Someone just said, if I couldn't have my tendies and Monster. Oh man. So Monster Energy? Could you imagine that's your diet every night? You just don't deviate from that because it's just, you're just used to it. And like, you have to have your tendies. But more so than that, the Monster Energy drink? Oh. I'm actually, like, shocked that people drink energy drinks for mouth pleasure. Someone just said, I have chocolate milk, like, every day. Well, that's fine. Chocolate milk is delicious. And that's not, like, the same, like, meal every day. Like, I know there are people out there that will only eat one thing. You know, that they will have one thing, and You know, whether it's some kind of mental thing or that's just what they like. And, like, I'm not making fun of it necessarily so much as I am just like, well, I'm sad for you. I need variety, you know, I can't do too much of the same shit. Like, I joke about pizza, I don't eat that much pizza. And if I do have that much pizza, I take a break from it for a little bit. At the moment, me and pizza are on good terms, but sometimes we need a little bit of time apart, because variety is the spice of life, and for me, you know, one night, chicken, beef, whatever. Some night I just want veggies. Some nights I just want pasta. Some nights, Chinese food, taco. I need lots of different types. It's important because then even the most delicious of pizza meat, I'm like, oh, well, I don't want that because I had it two days ago and I know what I'm in for. It's like me playing the same game for months on end. I just get bored. I mean, this isn't, like, revolutionary information. I'm sure a lot of people are like this. That's why water... Like, I've been drinking a lot of water, and I only drink water at the moment, aside from coffee. Excuse me, coffee. I have the hiccups now. Coffee. But flavor. Adding a little bit of that flavor juice to the water has really been helpful. Hello there, I'm Acro. How'd you end up here? Oh, the irony, right? It's a long and unfortunate story. I should really get back to my workstation. Thanks for snapping me out of it. Oh, I missed. That sucks. Also, to, kind of add to my previous criticism, or maybe, like, refine it a bit, I'm enjoying the game again because this is, like, new. Even though this area isn't new, and I did some of this stuff already. I have a sense of purpose, a little bit, and while I haven't received any upgrades or anything that would make a Metroidvania more compelling for me... At least I'm doing stuff that I haven't done yet, or at least some of it. It's bringing me back to why I like this game in the first place. Oh, Billy. Oh my God. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Okay, so be serious, chat. Does anyone here like the taste of... Does anyone here actually like the taste of energy drinks? No, seriously. Yes. Genuinely, I do. Yes, unironically. There's a lot of people that are saying yes. Maybe I haven't had one that's good. I don't really do energy drinks. The last energy drink I remember tasting was Red Bull. So, I don't have experience with energy drink. Ah! What is this mental block? Buy pussy? Is that the name of an energy drink? Only if you're married can you do that, though. And not in the United States can you buy pussy. And apparently it's real. There's really an energy drink called pussy. Oh, that's more times than I wanted to say the word pussy tonight. Thing in my eye. Okay, now it's gone. What am I, Don't do that. Oh. Oh. Making beef! Why did you do that? Fuck. I could have reached over to... I could have reached over to the right. 3 a.m. gameplay session, here we go. Tried to get that extra jump before... Get up there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's something. Get the fuck out of here! This isn't good. I shouldn't be screaming. I really should not be screaming. I should not be screaming. I guess we're just not gonna give Vinny a checkpoint anytime soon. Do it like that. It's just really, really precise. checkpoint, please? Thank you. Oh, thank God. It's like super secret bonus area. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's there. I think I'm gonna stop here and not go to like 3:30 because I do feel like a little extra sleep would be good. I say extra. Meanwhile, look at what time it is. Yeah, I mean, I'll play this game again. I actually know where to go for next time, so that's good. If I can keep that up and keep finding some kind of momentum that keeps me motivated to play the game, then I'm sure it'll be good. Nintendo Direct tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Stop by. I'll be live for it. And then 10 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing a stream starting 10 p.m. Eastern. And we'll do our 4 hours, but I'll just flip them, and I think... Not flip them, but start a little earlier. And then Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm going to try to finish tomorrow. So, surprise at 10 p.m., and then when the surprise is over, Metal Gear Solid. Also, someone said to me, Vinny, don't take this too hard, but I'm kind of glad the Beatles are like over and done with this. I've been hearing about them all my life. They're great, but I don't want to be in my 60s hearing about my parents' generation of music long after they've died. Well, you're going to be hearing about the Wizard of Oz for the next 40, 50 years, probably. That's a really weird comment. Can I address that for a minute? I don't think you think they're great. I think you just don't like hearing about them. That might be my opinion. Maybe it's I don't get sick of hearing about the Beatles. Maybe I'm a big fan. Maybe I'm amazed at the way I love them all the time. But I really connected with them. And I don't think that this masturbation thing of them wanking in a room is the end of the Beatles. I really don't think that's going to be the last time we hear about them. I do agree that Paul should have kept his mouth shut, but apparently this is something he talked about in 1997. So whoever the interviewer was, they dredged it back up. And Paul was just like, yeah, you know, whatever, man. You know, we just had a little wank, a thrash. You know what I mean? Oh, it was just a couple guys in a dark room talking about Winston Churchill. But I think you're going to hear about lots of things, and you're going to continue hearing about Star Wars. That's a 1977 thing, and you're going to hear about that for a long time, especially when Solo 4, 5, and 6 movies come out. Episodes 12, 13, 14, 16. You know, there's things don't just go away, especially when there's money to be made and people that love them. And in the case of something like The Wizard of Oz, you know, that was like a huge cultural thing. You know, when I go to the fucking Wildwood Boardwalk, they still have Wizard of Oz, like, machines. There's a lot of them, too. They got really popular. And there's Wizard of Oz tropes throughout all of, like, culture and society. So, I mean, some things are just inescapable. You're just, you know, you're gonna hear about them. And, I guess the only way to not hear about them is to, like, well, what would you do? Get off the planet, I guess. But, you know, whatever you like, you know, live under a rock. I guess you could just, you know, have a little wank with some pals. But that was on Twitter. That's what that message was. Vinny, I think the guy is holding the same sentiment as someone who doesn't care about your waifu is listening to you go on and on and on about your waifu. Huh? But I mean, you know, if you're talking to someone and they're just that's really nice. I like that. If you're talking to someone and they don't stop talking about their waifu, I'd probably just, you know, that would be like the end of that. This is more of a thing that's just permeates through culture. And I know that there are a lot of people that don't like the Beatles because they're quote unquote overrated. They never connected with them. They don't like the song. They don't like their voices. They whatever. They like a different genre. There's a million and one reasons, but there's also a reason that they endure. The songs are like fucking nursery rhymes. They're really, really simple, well constructed. I mean, and then there's some songs that are complex. There's honesty in their music. There's a lot of fun bass lines and drum beats and guitar solos and melodies. There's a reason. It's not just because Thing got popular. You know, if that was the case, we'd hear more about the Monkees. The Monkees were fucking huge in the 60s. We only hear about them a little bit because they had a couple good songs, but they were mostly like gimmick band. So, but yeah, there's a ton of gimmick bands that did what the Beatles did or tried to do that, and they just, no one knows who they are anymore. But if I had to hear about like someone's waifu, I probably would end that friendship. Like if I'm in person talking to another human being and we're hanging out, maybe having a drink, and they're telling me about their waifu, and I'm like, oh, cool, dude, all right, that's enough. And then like a half hour later, it's like another waifu conversation. I'm like, all right, dude, no, that's enough. And then another half hour later, it's more waifu. I don't go for another drink with that dude. That's it. Drink is over. Drinks are done. Who talks about their waifu that much? Same people that eat tendies, drink energy drink every night. I'm sure there's someone. Man, I'm sure there's someone. There's someone for everything. I mean, I'm happy for you if you found the waifu of your dreams. I'm really, really proud of you and happy for you, and I hope that it leads to a happy existence. But there's a limit. But then again, you would hope... I'm going to say this one last thing. I swear to God, this is it. So say if someone's talking to me about the band Disturbed. I don't really like Disturbed. I had a friend who loved Disturbed. To him, they were his Beatles. He thought they were absolute geniuses. And, you know, they're okay, I guess. They were hard rock, they new metal, whatever. And they weren't like untalented. I just couldn't get into it. And I liked a couple riffs and songs, sure, but dude was playing Disturbed all the time. It's my roommate for a while too. And it got to the point where like we would, you know, whenever music came up, Disturbed would come up. And I would try not to like force, you know, I have a lot of different bands that I love, so I can bring up a lot of different things. But for him, Disturbed always would come up. Always, always, always. And we stayed friends. It's not like that was a reason to end a friendship. But you would think, like, you know, the important thing is the social cue of like, oh, clearly this dude isn't into this band. Or like, we've talked about this for about 8 months now. And he doesn't respond very positively to my discussion about David Draymond's lip ring. Maybe at this particular conversation point, we could just skip on the Disturbed conversation. No. I mean, Dems is some dope piercings. I'll just say that. Did he disturb you? Not really.